Hello friends, have you ever embarrassed yourself? Oh, what a silly question. Everyone has at some point in life, right? From gossiping about someone and realizing they're totally in earshot to accidentally liking your crush's photo on Instagram. However, if we talk about a situation where you mortified yourself and someone else at the same time, look no further because this mom from New York is the epitome of embarrassment. She tried to surprise her daughter but ended up all over the internet. Deanna Pilling had an idea which she thought would be great. She wanted to surprise her daughter McKenna at university. She hasn't told her enough, otherwise it would have been a surprise, right? Deanna and her daughter have always had a great relationship. She saw her kid through elementary and high school life, but now she was taken by surprise when she found out what her daughter was planning to do with her life. McKenna was an amazing student. She excelled throughout her elementary and high school years. However, there was a decision to be made. Since they live in Manhattan, New York, it felt like the whole world collapsed in front of Deanna when she found out that her daughter wants to study at Utah State University. Her emotional and surprising reaction almost moved McKenna to tears. McKenna had made her decision and she was scared and insecure about letting her mom know. She didn't know how Deanna would react. University life is great, but separating with your mom on such a long distance for the first time must be difficult, right? However, Deanna almost made her daughter cry from joy when she admitted that her decision somehow shocked her and made her sad, but nevertheless, she will always support her daughter no matter what. Deanna tried to be brave and put a happy mask on, but deep down, however, Deanna eventually came to terms with her daughter's decision. She knew that it was time for McKenna to flee the nest, and she decided to fully support her. Besides that, she was planning to visit often. Chatting for many months on social media was not enough after all. It was the very first time they had to live their lives separately. Even though Deanna adapted to her new life without her daughter, she couldn't wait any longer, so she came up with a plan. McKenna was already scheduled to head back home to New York in a few days to spend time with her mom and family for summer vacation. Anyways, Deanna decided to proceed with her ill-fated plan. She wanted to surprise her daughter at her college. This idea seemed perfect, but Deanna had no idea how terribly wrong this would turn out to be. This loving and caring mom thought she was showing up a few days before McKenna was about to come back home, but there would be a surprise. She didn't tell her daughter anything about this plan. Deanna booked a last-minute flight from New York City to Utah, and even then, she couldn't foresee what a dramatic turn of events would occur. While Deanna was waiting to board her flight, she tried to call her daughter and ask her about plans for the night. McKenna picked up the phone. When Deanna finally boarded on the plane, she was hoping that her daughter would be there when she arrived. Nevertheless, it was already too late to change her mind. After a 5-hour trip, Deanna finally arrived in Logan, Utah. She got into a taxi and headed directly to Utah State University. While she was driving in the cab, the phone began to ring. Deanna immediately started to panic as soon as she saw that McKenna was calling her back. The last thing she wanted to do was to ruin the surprise, so she didn't answer the call. She knew that her daughter might be suspicious that something was up if she heard her voice. Deanna declined the call immediately and prepared to get off. She was almost there. The last time Deanna visited the camp was 9 months ago when she had helped McKenna move in. She felt lost and disoriented when she saw the big building for the second time. Now the question was, would she be able to remember where McKenna's dorm was? It was the end of the semester, so the campus was busy and crowded. Students were moving out for the summer with the help of their families. Deanna was keeping her head down so that no one would recognize her. After a prolonged time of roaming around the university, she felt anxious. The university was much bigger than she remembered. After she wandered around for a long time, she finally found her daughter's building. While she was walking down the hallway, she spotted some of McKenna's friends whom she recognized from Facebook. She immediately felt relieved. Now, she knew with a high level of certainty that she was at the right place. After she took the elevator up to the next floor, she was getting nervous and anxious. It had been so long since she saw her daughter, 9 months exactly, the longest time time they had ever spent apart. Her adrenaline was raising as she was approaching McKenna's dorm room. She couldn't wait to see her daughter's surprised face. Deanna paused for a few seconds, took a deep breath, and gently knocked on the door. She didn't hear any footsteps approaching the door after the first knock. Deanna knocked again. Nothing. After a few short minutes of just standing there, she realized that nobody was there, but she wasn't planning to just stand there. Deanna grabbed the door handle and was both surprised and confused to see that the door wasn't locked. She felt something was not right, but anyways, she pushed the handle down and swung the door open. Deanna had no idea what was about to happen next. As soon as Deanna opened the door, she saw some girls who were packing up their things. She quickly greeted them with hello and immediately went straight into McKenna's room. It was a huge surprise when she found the room empty. Everything around her was spotless. No posters, no books, no clothes, just piles of boxes, all lined up. "There's something fishy going on here," Deanna said to herself, feeling exhausted from the long trip. This new disappointment was too much to bear. Deanna decided to lie down on the bed, but on second thought, she thought that this would ruin the whole surprise thing. What if she was sleeping when McKenna arrived? To keep herself awake, she got an idea. Deanna decided to let her daughter know where she was in her own fashion. While still lying on the bed, she pulled out her phone and took a selfie. She hoped that McKenna would be exhilarated when she realized that her mom had flown all the way from New York just to see her. After a few short minutes, McKenna replied, but her answer was far from what Deanna had hoped for. Her jaw dropped, and it felt like the bed started absorbing her like quicksand. She was shocked. McKenna, totally confused, asked, "Where that?" Deanna thought. Did McKenna not recognize her own bed? But it was the following message that made Deanna's heart drop. It read, "I'm in my dorm. Please tell me you're not in someone else's dorm." Deanna felt a heat wave spreading all over her body as she suddenly realized what she had done. Deanna jumped out of the bed immediately, sprinting out of the room before someone saw her, and she ran down the hallway. Then she replied, "I'm in the wrong dorm. Oh my gosh." She didn't know what to think or do. Her emotions were chaotic. "I felt so embarrassed because I've already said hi to several students in the dorm and they probably had no idea who I was," Deanna explained later. Then she said, "Oh my gosh, I didn't even look at the name on the building. It could be the wrong building." Deanna later found out that McKenna's room was just down the hall from the one that she had entered. Her daughter's reaction to this was priceless. McKenna thought the whole mess was very funny, and she immediately took to Twitter to share her mom's embarrassing messages. The girl, whose dorm room was visited by Deanna, had no idea until a few days later when she saw McKenna's Twitter post. She also commented on the tweet and wrote, "Is that my pillow?" But as soon as McKenna posted her tweet, people just couldn't get enough of it, so it went viral. No one expected such an overwhelming response. Since McKenna posted this photo last Thursday, the tweet has been liked more than 25,800 times and also retweeted 11,400 times. Despite this stunning internet success, her mom only regrets one thing after all. Can you guess what that might be? McKenna told BuzzFeed News that every time she refreshed her feeds, more and more retweets and favorites popped up, and her mom was saying it all the time, "I wish I would have taken a better picture." Did you like the story? Check out our channel for more.